Hello, in this video I've got 3 driving themed spooky stories for you. The first 2 may be true, but the third one definitely is because it happened to me. So let's get straight into these stories. The first one happened in South Birmingham many years ago when a young girl was hit and killed while crossing the road outside a college. When the police arrived, they asked everyone standing around her who she was, but none of the other students knew who she was. They then looked through her possessions and found no ID whatsoever, so they went into the college that she was crossing the road outside, and nobody knew who she was. She appeared to be a student. She had a bag full of student books and was crossing the road outside the college with the other students. But to this day, she has never been identified and nobody knows who she was. If you drive around the M5 and M42 around South Birmingham in the UK, you may experience the phantom tow truck. Many people have reported driving around the motorways of South Birmingham late at night when they overtake what looks to be an old-fashioned tow truck from years and years ago. But when they look in the mirror to see if they've passed it and if it will be safe to return to the left lane, the tow truck has mysteriously gone. This puts people into a state of panic because they think that they've missed it, or they think they're about to hit it as they change lanes. And this has been reported many times over the last few decades. So if ever you're driving around the motorway in South Birmingham and you see an old-fashioned tow truck, just be careful. The last story is one that happened to me back in 2010. I arrived outside a pupil's house for a driving lesson, but I was about 10 minutes early, so I sat waiting for them. The pupil was walking up the road, and when they saw me, they waved at me, smiled and pointed to the wrist as if they were pointing to a watch, saying I'll just be a few minutes. So I sat outside the house and waited for them to come out. It got to the point where it was now time for the lesson to start, but they still hadn't arrived. So I waited 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and after 7 minutes I thought something might be up. So I went and knocked on the door of the house that the pupil had gone into. The pupil answered the door and asked me what I was doing here, and I said, well, we've got a driving lesson, and she'd completely forgotten. And I asked her, well, what happened? You just waved to me on the street and you just said I'll be a few minutes. And she looked puzzled. She said she'd been in her house all the time and she hadn't just got home. And I said to her, look, it doesn't matter. If you can't do the lesson, it doesn't matter, we'll just leave it. You're not going to get charged for it. And she said, no, it's not that. Well, I didn't think we had a lesson and I didn't just walk back in my house. And I asked her, have you got a twin sister or anyone else living here? And she said, no, no one has walked back in the house. But I know for a fact that I saw her and she waved at me and pointed to her watch. Throughout the rest of her driving lessons, she still insisted that she'd never done that, and I even met her months after she passed the test by a complete chance, and she still didn't admit that I was her who went into her house that day. If you've enjoyed this video, there'll be a couple more Halloween specials coming out over the next 2 days. Check out some of these other videos on the screen now. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.